You're hoarding. You're playing each piece like losing it hurts. This ain't checkers. You want my king. You got to come get my king. All these other pieces are just a means to do it. Every time you make a good run at me, I just threaten your queen and back you go. You're treating her like she's the last lady on earth. Your queen is just a pawn with a lot of fancy moves, nothing more. When you see you playing a man who feels naked without his lady, use her. Jump in there and take her. Tease her, threaten her, and he won't be able to think about his game anymore. That's when you make your real move. It's good. It's better. You like that horse, don't you? You like his crazy jumps all over the board. You think he's your friend. You hate to lose him almost as much as you hate to lose that lady. Well, he is your friend, boy. They all are. But you're gonna have to use him just like you use the other. If he falls by the wayside, well, that's just life's little game, ain't it? And until you come ready to play a game, you'll never beat her at it.
Check.
Portions of the following program may be unsuitable for younger or more sensitive viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news, reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit education or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. This video was made for entertainment purposes and is transformative in nature.
You feel, however, that we're making progress in this country and worldwide?
No. I will never say that progress is being made. If you stick a knife in my back 9 inches and pull it out 6 inches, there's no progress. You pull it all the way out, that's not progress. The progress is healing the wound that the blow made. And they haven't even begun to pull the knife out, much less try and heal the wound. They won't even admit the knife is there. You haven't.
Hey, John, what do you want us to take away from this extraordinary series of yours?
Well, I want people who are not Latin to have Latin envy and wish they had been born Latin, and for Latin people to realize, damn, being Latin is a superpower, man. I mean, the things that we've suffered in this country, 500 years, our wealth was stolen from us. We were lynched. We were burned, shot alive. We've been the only American citizens that have ever been deported by the millions. And yet we contribute and we build and we thrive.
To me, if you have been here for 5 years and you do not have a criminal record, you will be able to go on the dignity status for 7 years.
That status is like a probation period.
You will not be deported. You will not lose your assets. You can work anywhere in the country. You will pay taxes.
And there would be an additional tax.
A new levy of 1.5 withholding called the dignity levy will be held from your paycheck. You will not have access to any government program and will have to buy your own health insurance.
And another charge.
You will pay $700 a year for 7 years, and that adds up to around $5,000. Those $5,000 will represent around $45 billion.
This is provided that the undocumented immigrants total 10 million, but there are more.
And that fund will go to pay for border security. The other bucket of money, the 1.5, will go to re-educate or retrain any American who believes that he or she has lost his opportunity, his job opportunity, to an undocumented.
Some of the other legislators who support the bill said they are aware that it is not perfect. They said it's better than doing nothing.
Various groups, feminists, gay rights groups, and those who are defending immigrants have commandeered the black civil rights
experience.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
Yes, I'm glad you asked that because I think it's one of the most important points of the book. I mean, I think the way liberals have treated blacks like children and many of their policies have been harmful to blacks. At least they got the beneficiary group right. We do have to, I mean, we shouldn't. There is the legacy of slavery and Jim Crow laws. We don't owe the homeless. We don't owe feminists. We don't owe women who are desirous of having abortions, but that's, or gays who want to get married to one another. That's what civil rights has become for much of the left. They dropped the blacks after 5 minutes.
Immigrant rights are not civil rights?
No, I think civil rights are for blacks. We done to the immigrants. We owe black people something. We have a legacy of slavery. Immigrants haven't even been in this country. Democrats are dropping the blacks and moving on to the Hispanics because they're a larger group of Hispanics now. But could I just say to Jorge, I hate to disagree with you when you're attacking President Obama, but I think the point on immigration is you can have open borders or you can have a welfare state. You cannot have both.
It was a great job with Heartbeat.
You late again, Eddie.
Trying to do. You ain't gonna do it. See, Big Red done pulled my coattail to you a long, long time ago.
That's bullshit, Eddie. You talking crazy.
Crazy like a mother fox. And you, I can see through your jive ass like glass, nigga.
Eddie, you got it all wrong, man.
Stealing my moves. My style, nigga, even trying to riff like me.
Hey, man, why don't you get your boy out of here and detox him?
You on my spot, Flash? Slum-dwelling, scum-sucking, slug-ass motherfucker. You on my spot, Flash? Huh? Well, you ain't gonna get it, cause you ain't got it.
These kind of boys seems innocent, Boogie. Got everybody on the post thinking he's a strong black buck. White boys envy his strength, his speed, power in his swing. Then this colored champion lets those same white boys call him Shine or Sambo. And he just smiles.
Dream about the time when I was a little boy.
Can't talk.
The night would get
Can barely read or write his own name. And don't care. He'll tell you they like him. Or that colored folks ain't supposed to have but so much sense.
Yes, he would.
You know the damage one ignorant Negro can do. We were in France in the First War. We'd won decorations. But the white boys had told all them French gals that we had tails. Then they found this ignorant colored soldier. Paid him to tie a tail to his ass and run around half naked making monkey sounds. They put him on a big round table in the Cafe Napoleon. Put a reed in his hand. Crown on his head, blanket on his shoulders, and made him eat bananas in front of all them Frenchies. Oh, the white boys danced that night. Passed out leaflets with that boy's picture on it. Called him Moonshine, king of the monkeys. And when we slit his throat, you know that fool asked us what he had done wrong. My daddy told me we got to turn our backs on his kind, Wilkie. Close our ranks to the chitlins, the collard greens, the cornbread style. We are men, soldiers. And I don't intend for our race to be cheated out of its place of honor and respect in this war because of fools like CJ. You watch everything he does.
everything.
You said your people have been fighting for 400 years.
Man, your peoples too.
So I just want you to explain what you mean by that.
You know what I'm talking about. Y'all all know what I'm talking about, man. Don't sit up here and try to bait and not know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what the I talk about when I say these things. Your people too.
Explain it. Not everybody knows what you're talking about.
Radio Raheem, I don't have to explain what's understood, man. You know what I mean by that. You know what I said by that. I ain't got to go further. And if anybody don't understand that, then God be with them. Go look up the history. Go look up the history. Don't everybody believe in Google? Go Google that. See what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about, man. You know what I dare you to sit up there and say, explain. You know what I'm talking about, man. He's fighting people. You know we've been fighting 400 and still fighting to this day. To this day. To this day. You just sit here, you don't know.
And since the American white man has used his control over the press to rewrite history or retell history, and since the white man can't dispute this truth, it's not hate to say that we were kidnapped and brought here, it's truth. It's not hate to say that we were Jim Crow, discriminated and segregated, it's truth. It's not hate to say that the Supreme Court, which is the highest court in this country, came up with a hypocritical desegregation decision 9 years ago, which they haven't enforced yet. That's not hate, that's truth.
Remember, the enemy has only images and illusions, behind which he hides his true motives. Destroy the image, and you will break the enemy.
Welcome to the most hated show in the black corner of YouTube. I am your host, the whiteologist, Mr. Blows Your Minds, and this is We Up Report. Want to say what's good to everybody in the house. I see Turn Screw say good evening, sir. What's good to you, Turn Screw? What's good to you? And we see Mr. Spencer 0620 in the house. What's happening to you? Glad to see you stop by. It's been a long week, but we're going to get through this, right? So I'm glad to see that y'all stopped by to check out this live that we got going tonight. And so much has been happening in the world. We on the verge of it looks like it's a possibility of some things that we kind of talked about a little bit over here. Again, talk about the draft and so forth as things heat up. We that are watching on this watchtower, we're going to relay some things. But right, today's show is going to be something in particular. They may get some answers to some of the money that they've been saying they've been spending. You know, the first time anything that's been said around here came from this particular show back in April 1st, 2014, talked about a particular topic, which put my show in the most deadest part of YouTube. So that's where we've been ever since. So again, welcome to all those who came by. Happen to go down the aisle, see something to make you feel some kind of way. Remember, the motto of my show is the truth don't need no partner. Just in case you clicked on because of the title, maybe it was the thumbnail that intrigued you. So what are you going to talk about tonight, Mr. Blow Your Minds? Well, go ahead and throw that up on the screen. We're going to talk about investments. It's investments of other kind. Let me say that one more again. Investments of other kind. What you mean by that, Mr. Blow Your Mind? Well, investments, right? The act of investing or another possession acquired for future financial returns or benefits, a commitment, time, or support. In military, they say it's a military siege. Yes, military siege. amount that's invested. The act of besieging with military forces, works, siege or encirclement, the surroundings and blockading of a city, town, or fortress by an army attempting to capture it, to subjects to a siege, the offensive operation carried out to capture a fortified place by surrounding it and displaying weapons or deploying weapons against it, a persistent attempt to gain something, a long, tedious period, lay siege to besiege, a seat for a person of distraction. They say also, well, we say destruction or distinction, right? Destruction, like when you're sitting on the throne. And now when you say a kind, you're talking about a group of individuals or instance showing a common trait, a doubtful or borderline member of a given category, underlying characters as a detriment of the class to which a thing belongs. They also talk about, when you talk about kind, you're talking about a lineal ancestry or descent or descendants considered as a group in goods, commodities, services rather than money. You done said a whole mouthful there, Mr. Blows Your Mind. Yeah, I did, but we're going to somehow package that up, show what we're going to talk about. And, you know, that's what it is, right? Somebody has to be watching. Some things don't make no sense. We be hearing a lot of times, they be talking about billions and billions of dollars being sent to places, and we like, what is that all about? Maybe some insight tonight, some of the things that I will show you might shine a light on it and be like, oh, that might be where's money going. But before we even get there, we got a comment here. Let me see what it's saying. Comment here. Aboriginal Knowledge in the house. Was good, sir. Glad to see you stop by. Aboriginal Knowledge in the house. Glad to see you stop by there, brother. So let's start with this story here. I had seen this last week, and there's some things I want to talk about. See, like last week, I don't know what happened last week, right? I think a lot of y'all was a little pissed off, or maybe you didn't really get the significance of the George Floyd. I ain't advocating. There was a message in. Wait a minute. How you say that? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. How you say that, Mr. Bloody Mind? Message. 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 It was a message inside there, right? There was a message up in there, but I don't know. Way my cupboard was bare last week. Hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm from the old school. Beans and rice will make it nice when you scraping. You understand what I'm saying? It's all good. You understand? I was just like, okay, maybe. I was like, okay, I seen, got the number 100, right? We ain't gonna get past 100. And got, the usual under 20 likes, no matter. I don't care what time how I do it, right? Well, I'm just like, okay, maybe people didn't get it. Didn't see the correlation. There's a lot going on with that, the Palestinian Israel thing. And we're going to actually kind of touch on it because something that happened, but as we get way down in the show, we're going to touch that. But anyway, I was just kind of wondering, like, well, maybe people just didn't get it over was the fact that George Floyd had such a negative connotation that sometimes we're blocked as to seeing things in it. I know it's sometimes it's coded in a way that's like, it don't even make no sense with what he was just saying. Maybe it did to you. But sometimes you have to go back. But anyway, we're glad to see everybody here. But this particular story here, I don't know if some of y'all might have seen this, right? It was talking about how there was this, he's a child, 8 years old, was taken as a suspect by the Sacramento police. I don't know, some of y'all might have seen this, may not have seen it. We touch these because, again, those of us who are cut from the cloth was, again, American indigenous, Black Americans, attached to indigenous, Negro, Moors, all the above and brother in terms that we call Black Americans. the significance of us and that what you call the patty rolls, going back to what they say, not all of us, but some of us have lineage that go back into slavery. And so there's been this, I guess we both done had our shares and what they call traumas over the years, whether it be personal or people in our family. And so when I seen this, I was kind of like, okay, I want y'all to see this, and then I'll talk about it as I come back. Check this out. Be right back.
A mother and her son are traumatized tonight after she says they were pulled over by Sacramento police looking for a suspect. The department says they mistakenly identified the 8-year-old child as a suspect with warrants out for his arrest. ABC 10's Roxanne Elias is live with us now. Roxanne, you talked one-on-one with the mother. How are they doing right now?
I did, Laura. Now, Shanice Stewart says she and her son are still very much shaken up by all of this. She says she's angry, upset, and hurt to hear her son tell her that he has a fear of getting onto the freeway because he says that, this could happen all over again. Taking into consideration she is pregnant and says the whole incident could have set her into going to labor.
This is the moment Shanice Stewart and her 8-year-old son were pulled over by Sacramento police on the Capital City Freeway. At one point, you can clearly hear the young boy pleading for his mother. Stewart says it happened Tuesday afternoon on the way to her son's football practice.
I wrote down all my windows, and then I just proceeded to listen to instruction, and I did instruct my son, just stay here, keep your seatbelt on, don't say anything. That's when I looked in my rearview mirror and I seen that they had guns pointed towards the car. And then that's when I did react and I did start to get nervous, break down. I got scared.
Stewart, who is 9 months pregnant, says at the moment she knew they were both being looked at as suspects. Sacramento police say officers were looking for a juvenile who was wanted for 2 felony warrants, including a warrant for gun possession. And from a distance, officers observed a juvenile who they believed to be the wanted suspect enter a vehicle with tinted windows.
He doesn't look like a suspect at all. I mean, he's an 8-year-old. He's nothing but 3 feet, maybe 3 feet 10 inches. He's real small. He doesn't even come off as a violent kid. He plays football and he's doing well in school. He's a child.
Stewart says the officers tried to explain to her they were looking for a suspect. Police now admit it was a case of mistaken identity, and officers provided an explanation and an apology. The expectant mother says it's not enough and too much damage has already been done.
It really makes me scared for him as he gets older, and I hope that this doesn't impact him as he gets older to where he doesn't know how to react if he gets pulled over in the future when he gets older, and I'm hoping that he doesn't build anxiety growing up against this, because that was a traumatic experience.
Shanice says that she makes it a point to let her son know that not all officers are bad, but at this point she feels that he is not comfortable being around any law enforcement. She feels that he will possibly need some type of counseling to move forward. In the next coming days, she does plan to file a formal complaint. Laura?
Roxanne, this incident has clearly left a mark, and this family still has a lot of healing to do. An emotional and powerful story, Roxanne Elias. Thank you.
Got a little technical difficulty over here, but we're going to get through it, right? Got Mr. Smith on here already saying right off the bat. Let me go ahead and put that up on the screen for everybody. 8 years old as a suspect. These people are crazy as hell, right? People crazy as hell. Now, some people say that because we feel this way, that we got some kind of racial animosity towards people. No, or we are hateful towards police. No, that's not what it is. Like, again, I said over many videos that we at times feel that when you need a crazy motherfucker for a crazy motherfucker, then you hired to be the crazy motherfucker, we'll call your ass. We need you to go over here. Some motherfuckers is back. You know what I'm saying? Some shit you can't handle, you call them. So we respect that aspect of it. But we talking about when innocence. Now let's just look at how this story went down. Now again, you done already heard, 8 years old, 8, right? Now some of us are fathers, some of us are big brothers, or could be brothers or siblings, or grandfathers, so forth. 8 years old, right? 8. Once in a while, you get a shack baby, right? You get a baby that's big for their age, right? But in this case, you heard the mother say what she said, right? Let me give you a little picture of what he looked like, right? Let me give you, so you put the picture up there for the, right? So just a little shorty here, right? Right? Doing what a mama does. Take a baby to go, he playing Pop Warner, I think Pee Wee, Pop Warner ball, right? Playing football, right? And here they is doing what, mom and children, family do. And on the freeway and on their way, either coming or going. And I had another video, and the video where she said in there, she said it was also helicopters following them, right? So you got helicopters following them. Let me show what the vehicle looked like. And I got a message from Aboriginal Knowledge as well. So let me show you what the vehicle, because you kind of heard in the story. I'm going to lay it all out. But we're going to start off here because, again, we got to remember, we have children, we either are siblings or we are relatives or so forth. And there's something that is, something is seeking us, right? So let me show what the car looked like, right? Show that car. Right? Let me take Mr. Slens down real quick. Appreciate your comment, bro. So that's kind of like what you've seen in the video there, right? They kind of give you that shot there, and you see already 1, 2, 3 cars, right? Then we're gonna go over that story they said. Because remember, they said, now remember, it's the mama, right? Now, let me go ahead and get the comment out of the way, then we're gonna go ahead and get into this, right? Aboriginal had said this, was Ab said, some things they did during so-called slavery traumatized pregnant, so-called black women and children. Correct, sir? We're gonna touch that, and that's the main reason why I'm doing this, right? Because she's in a condition herself, correct? He 8 years old, she being a black woman under that situation, again, not knowing. And then as she laid out, a lot of things could have went wrong, right? So we're going to go over that. But you're right about that because, again, trauma. They say, I think they call it Akashic records, I think is the term they use. Akashic records is things that actually trauma can be passed on to the next generation. So by her condition, which I will talk about, was that transferred already in the baby? They ain't even seen, 1 day outside yet. It's already embedded. And then here's the 8-year-old that I myself can relate because I remember, again, the uniqueness that I, as Mr. Blow Your Mind, do what I do, and I can articulate and say the thing when it comes to race and be very articulate with it, is because I'm going to tell you about that little 8-year-old and what happens when you under those situations. Now, for myself, I was in 2nd grade. My first encounter with racism is in 2nd grade. That's why, I'm fluent with it. It was in 2nd grade, had a teacher, and I think she had us lined up. I don't know if we were going to recess or something like that. You know how they have you back in the day. Now, time when I'm coming up now, again, shit's still popping. It ain't never died. It's just today for a lot of people, they have to kind of sip and see. And the stories like this that reminds you, some of us was still, we know what it is, right? So I'm in about 2nd grade, standing in line. Maybe I'm a little out. Maybe I'm playing with a friend or something. Teacher comes and punched me in my damn stomach. Now, again, I'm in 2nd grade. I'm about 7 years old. I'm younger than him. Normally, a grown person punching a kid in the stomach, that should be a woman, she older. I'm pretty sure she was old at that time. But so I didn't cry. I went and got my coat, went home, right? Go home, tell mama she at home. You know, it had the police and everything. By the time we come back, because they just knew something was going to pop off. But that was my first encounter with it, right? And that woke me up to what's not right. What was that about? That began the process of me becoming the whiteologist. So I'm telling this young man here, as what he's going through, his mind is going through some things that he's going to figure out. And later on, he might be, well, not necessarily got to be a problem, something you got to go out and worry about, but he's going to be able to have a nice sixth sense and know how to see things that most people take till they get grown. And then there's a lot of people who are grown out here who you can hear speak and cannot articulate what they know. Now, everybody got different levels of how they express themselves and education and so forth. But there's something that you gain from that once you go through it, right? And so we're going to look at the story that she said. Matter of fact, let me give you a close-up. So she said she rolled her windows down, right? She rolled the windows down. So let's see. Let me take Ab down. Ab 9. So you can see the close-up on the vehicle there, right? And you can kind of see that back window is kind of real dark. Did it come down? Oh, take that down for me, sir. All right, there we go. All right, so you see the back window real dark. So that means you got them with a limo tint, real dark tint. Now, it's funny how they can be against the damn law, but yet they can sell them. You know what I'm saying? It's like some things like, okay, if it's against the law, you shouldn't even be able to have a business to sell it, but you can sell it and then, you know, it's kind of like an air freshener. You know what I'm saying? Remember, I was saying the air freshener before what happened to Minneapolis. Remember when the shorty got pulled over for the air freshener and ended up taser, and she shot him with the gun and he died? But those who've been over here, remember, I gave you some, well, I think about 2000, maybe 16, I gave you an intro with a reenactment of being in the car and being pulled over and gave you the whole, I ain't gonna tell you what I heard, I'm gonna tell you what I know, right? I ain't gonna tell you what I heard, I'm gonna tell you what I know. That's because I got dictionaries, encyclopedias of situations that I've been through. So why you hear me like this? Because that's why they keep me at 100, because they say, you too fluent in this. Well, you taught me well. You understand? You taught me well. So that's what ended up happening when you do that. And so what happens is being around and seeing how the transformation of how the system has made the curriculum of schools and the way they teach, and then to see the new product and the way that you see things, like, you know, how some people at a certain age see life and situations and say that certain things don't exist. Well, of course, you came in, you know, you came in the game at a different period in time. Doesn't mean the game ain't still playing. It's like you got tickets to a game. You didn't get there at jump ball. You didn't get there at the first pitch. You didn't get there at kickoff. But when you got there when you got there and the game was still in play. But it's the still same game for what, even with those who were there from the kickoff. It's just that maybe you just getting aspect of the game where it's at then. So that's your perspective of it. So a lot of times I see a lot of the new ones today try to tell what ain't there when I see what I see. And I'm going to tell you what I see. So you may not see that. So with that being said, so she had her windows, was dark. And so let's look at this, right? So they said they mistakenly identified her son. Now, wait a minute. He got on a football. Wait a minute. Go back. Go back. Put that up there. Not that she just showed you his not that they just showed you the picture of him. Let's go back. Show that again. They showing you the picture of him, of what he looked like when he in his uniform, right? But he had the helmet on and the uniform on while he was in the vehicle. How did they not notice that he was in that? Because accordingly, as the story goes, right? Well, we'll get there, right? So he has fear of being on the freeway. So he's associating being on the freeway with the experience, as Aboriginal knowledge said, the trauma, right? A lot of us got trauma. Some of us gone through some things where, you know, it may be things you kept to yourself that you try to work out. You know, a lot of trauma. We as our people go through some things a lot of times if we don't tell nobody, we keep it to ourselves, and it becomes things that just sit dormant in us. And sometimes the anger that you see in a lot of our people is because of traumas of things that didn't happen, that this is the way that they lash out and they deal with it. So how did these police officers see a young boy, 8 years old, and again, she even gave me the explanation, he little, he tiny, he not big. How did he look like a suspect? And so the ordeal of that whole situation has planted a seed in him, right? Planted a seed in him. You heard them when they said what he heard him. You heard him screaming, right? He was screaming. He was scared out his mind. Mama's scared too. They got mama out the vehicle, right? Got him walking back, got her walking back, and then they gone with the guns all drawn out. She also, I told you in another video, said they're helicopters, right? But they said they were just looking for a kid who had 2 felony warrants, right? And for one for possession of a gun. Who was it that made the identification? You didn't see her with the son with the football uniform on? You just said had tinted car with tinted windows was sufficient enough to create all that. What if that goes wrong? What if one of them itchy, trip, trigger finger, shoot the young man? The mama already pregnant. You got her under duress. You got her in a situation with trauma, and you're passing that right into that baby. Right into that baby. Look at what a juvenile with 2 felonies, a juvenile, right? Juvenile, right? Case of mistaken identity. Yes, somebody can mistake an identity. You know, where that case of mistaken identity come from, we all look alike. Right? Back in the day, we all look alike. What's a pick a nigga. Any, mini, miny, mo, right? All look the same. But when we start looking at other people, we were saying the same thing too, right? There's certain groups of people all look the same. Time has changed now where people are a little bit more focused. You know, when it was just the barriers, well, you know, your eyes slanted, you all look the same. You all here got short black hair, you all look the same. You all got a big nose and big ears, you all look the same. You get what I'm saying? You got white skin, you got, right? So it became these characteristics, these things that we looked and identify with. So in this situation, as a police officer, shouldn't you be the first one to know how to ID a suspect? No? You knew that you chasing her down the freeway on what hunch? Was it because the car just had tinted windows? You know what I'm saying? Because I remember back in the 80s when everybody was doing the tint, even shit. I knew how to put it on myself, buy the shit, put it in the window, know how to smooth the bubble in it, get it out there real smooth. But what happened is once you got a little crease, right? Ain't that right, Spence? Got that little crease in there, that bubble get in there, that whole shit comes. So that's why everybody stopped buying the factory. You could do it on your air, and then you had some of us who was skilled enough, knew how to do it, get paid a little bit. But what happens is you get that little bubble in there, then you be driving, you get the bubble, you damn, I got the bubble in my shit. You know what I'm saying? Well, that's how it would be, right? So anyway, the point is, I'm just saying, you know, you scare him, and she's worrying about him when he get older and what that's gonna do to him. When he grows up, is he gonna have some anxieties? And sometimes, can people hide behind their jobs to plant things? As there's something that may be a bigger agenda that is not known to the grassroots, to the average, right? L7s and squares and civilians, that there's a higher game that is manifesting and they're planting seeds because futuristic is where we're going to go tonight. We're going to show you something that I said back in 2014, I'm going to go 10 years. April 1st, 2024 will be 10 years since I told that. And I'm going to show you something tonight that's going to show you, oh, I wasn't lying. I wasn't lying, right? So it's kind of funny, right? So, okay, so planting seeds, trauma, and is apology good enough? or we sorry, let it be. But then what is the cause and effects that are later? Again, she's saying he may need some medical, he might need some psychological. Because again, children today are not built like children who, let's say, of the 90s, and children of the 90s ain't built like the children of those of the 60s and the 70s, and so on and so on, because right, the times were different. You had less. We used the concrete well. You know what it is, the hoop on when you never played on the gym floor. When we hoop on the concrete, you got to be, your joints got to be tough. But when you get older, you might be, knees bad, so forth, stuff like that. But you know what it takes when and then those who got in the gym, you be in the gym, right? So, y'all got to be inside. We had to be on the concrete, sliding on the sand, all that other stuff, playing tackle football, playing, baseball, busting windows, right? All kinds of stuff, right? Well, you built a little different. Played when snow. Winter, I ain't seen a good winter in a long time. I shouldn't even have said that. God damn, I should have said that. Right? Right? I ain't seen that in a while. But it used to be in the back in the day, snow be high. You want to go out there, try to play football in the snow because it's an extra with the hit plus the push in the snow. Made it a little bit more exciting, right? It gave you a little bit more, but anyway. But see that the shorty there, right? Just like that shorty there, right? Playing football, being innocent, being a child. A lot of people I know don't know what it is to be a child. Didn't have a good childhood, and today's children ain't like children of old who were able to be outside. It was always danger, but we had community. So now people have to always be assisting and being right there all the time with them, right? So children and protecting our children because somebody's trying to attack our children is where we going, y'all. And because we have to protect him being 8, those children who about between 8 and 12 are already a majority. Did you know that? A lot of them are already a majority over a group that's already fearful of a future that's coming. You want to see some of the things that they're going to do. We're going to show you as we go into this. Check this out. And we'll be, let me take this quick break and be right back. Here, let me go ahead and kick this message out. We got a message in here, right? Yeah, okay, yes, sir. Yes, right, Mr. Smith. You know what I'm saying? Our childhood, we, for less, we did more. We did more with a ball and a bat. Just a ball and a bat and a bunch of people where mothers got a little bit more today, don't have near the fun. Yeah, you might get in front of your Xbox and all. Yeah, you get to play with all people around. Yeah. I'm talking about with just a basketball, with a softball and a bat, with a football. Shit, without any ball, we feel like running today. We feel like climbing. We see who can walk the gate the longest without falling on their balls. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I hear a lot of people in here talking, but it's like their recollection because, my mother don't come from, they don't have that. They said all the time, we outside, I'm outside. What you doing outside? It's only about selling. It's about hustling. But what were you doing, the kid? Were you a kid? Were you ever a damn kid? Right? And the importance of being a kid in the future, they say that it's for the children. Well, there's some people, as you see on your screen, inside a Ukrainian baby factory. What baby factory? What you mean baby factory? Baby factory, y'all. Did y'all know that? That's a booming business ever since about 2013. Surrogacy. You know what surrogacy is? Somebody having a baby for you. They call it a rented womb. Women are renting out their wombs so that somebody can have babies because somebody's having a hard time producing children. Yeah, right? It's an industry out here, y'all. They're talking about the NGO, International Social Service, estimated there's about 20,000 babies yearly who are born by surrogacy. There's people today walking around you who might be a surrogate baby. You don't know that. They wouldn't tell you that. But you know, we see people, we don't know where they come from. We just see them, they exist, and you may have fraternization with them, you may socialize with them, you may have relationships with them, you work with them, but you don't know their full background, who they is and where they come from. But there's something that's been manifested in this country for a period of time, and people have been working behind the scenes. I remember I played a video one time of a commercial, through the night, we'll work tireless through the night. What did they mean? We working tireless through the night. And you see the scientist wiping his brow, sweat coming down. He's looking in the stethoscope or a microscope, I mean to say, microscope, trying to find the cure, the elixir. We got to find it because time is a ticking. Oh yeah, time is a ticking. I got a message here. Let's see what I got up in here, right? This says that she needs to have a serious talk about how demonic some of these people are. Therefore, he would understand. I agree with you 100%. I think that the art of that used to be at one particular time, you know, they say the talk. Yeah, the talk. I think that we got complacent and lackadaisical. We're not saying that everything in every situation. We're just saying some things just have to be, because that's just, you have to, you know, can't have people walking with blinders on. You know, a horse got blinders on so that he doesn't pay attention to the, can't you see too far left and too far right? So everybody just like to keep straight, because looking left and right, they say that may build a chip on the shoulder. I remember I used to mentor this one cat and used to tell him things, and his mother was noticing, because of the information and stuff that he was getting, that she felt like he was getting a chip on his shoulder. And it was like, I said, yeah, your mother felt it because you're starting to recognize the situations at hand. And so what ended up happening is, it's only natural for you to be like, you know, once you understand the scenario, the situations, it's only natural for you to have a certain way of looking at things. You know what I mean? You're going around being angry and hateful at people, just recognition, recognizing, just like Smith said, having the conversation with the shorties and letting them know what the game is. We kind of act like we put time dates and stamps, and certain things have expired. And so that means that the situations are not as dire as they were back then. Because they see, that's the psychological aspect of things back then. Everything back then. So that way is that today it's not prevalent today. And yet the same game, again, as my analogy was, you came to the game. You came in the second quarter. You came in the third quarter. You came in the fourth quarter. But the game was still playing from before, even when you got there. So it's the same game. It's just you came in at a different time. And so in order to keep things going, one must do what? Change the game in a way that when the new ones come in, so that you cannot articulate or make you have dissension with the older, so that the older and the younger don't come together. Because why? If I told you what it is, then it'll be harder for a motherfucker to play you. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Smith said, again, these kids today don't have no fun today. That was my reason for saying that, Mr. Spence. We knew what play was. Like I said, you didn't have to have a ball to have a ball. Let me say that one more again. You didn't have to have a ball to ball. We sit, like I said, talking shit was fun. You didn't need no ball. You just had to have tough skin or thick skin. You got to learn how to, you got to learn how to lose and learn how to win. Let me say that one more again. And I think that's a hard thing and a lesson for a lot of people. You first got to learn how to lose before you become a winner. A lot of people want to be the winner. Everybody bandwagon. Oh, LeBron and then winner. We running with LeBron. Oh, Stephen Curry winner. We running with you like the winner. You don't like the process of what it developed into a winner. That's how you learn how to become better. You go through. Mr. Blows Your Mind is the most hated show in the black corner of YouTube. Motherfuckers would have been done quick. 100 views? What's the point of me doing? He ain't get no money. What's the point of doing it? The lesson in it. That's what I'm doing. The lesson. You're going to learn from me. You fight any damn way. You fight anyway. If you chew to it, you chew to the game. We got a lot of people faking the front, and it's all about, yes, do I need $1? Yes. Do I need that? Yes. But what I'm saying is, when they're controlling it, what can you do? Do I stop? Because I know the bigger message is things that need to be said that ain't nobody gonna say. But you know what? Y'all think the shit is all for the game. You think you got forever on this game. Moves are being made. You just don't know it. And many people who in here are saying things, they got their own, everybody, again, I came in the game differently. I came in being taught by the system directly, gave me insight, gave my mind on something that, again, take a lot of people to their 30, 40, 50 years old. That's why you hear some people, when they're talking about it, they can say so much, but they can't get in depth. You won't hear me stutter. You don't hear me stutter. You hear me say it because I know it. It ain't nothing you can be taught. This is life experience gonna tell you that, right? So they got a inside Ukraine baby factory. Let's look at this, right? Let's look at this, right? So they saying celebrities like who promote it, they got Kim Kardashian. I just kind of wonder. I had a conversation with this family member, and she said, you know, Kanye never talk about the other kids. You don't talk about that one. Wonder why? Well, according to, you go look in there, you see that he promotes this. Is by any chance of those surrogate babies? I don't know. That's what they said in the article. They talked about it, right? Like I say, you won't know who is, but they say it's a booming business. And I'm going to show y'all something. They talk about the reproductive process. They said in 2022, it was worth $14 billion. Okay? Keep that in mind. And 2002, which is just last year, was worth $14 billion. They said it is expected to exponentially grow. Now they said 14. They said they projecting by the year 2032, $129 billion. Let me say that one more again. They're projecting that this surrogacy that they talking about and how they in need of babies is worth $14 billion right now, but is expected to balloon to $129 billion with a global market. This was Global Market Insight. They're the ones who projected that. And so right here in your own country, did you know that surrogacy is legal in many of the states in the United States? Yeah. But it's banned in most of Europe and many other parts of the world. They have places like in California, California, take that as a mental note. California, keep that as a check mark. California, surrogacy is common there. Common in California. So a company got created out of this called, you can look up, it's called Biotechcom. Biotexcom, right? Biotechcom. And Biotechcom is in where? Do y'all know where? Ukraine. Of all places, Ukraine. Uh-oh, did the light go off? All that money being spent, does it make, oh, okay. 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 So they talking about how people be traveling across national board is seeking for surrogacies. Coming to California, they say it's expensive, so they try to find places outside of their country, and Ukraine seems to be the place that they are doing. Oh, wait a minute. So wait a minute. Wait. What did you say, Mr. Blow Your Mind? Let me show y'all something. Let me show you something here. Listen to this, be right back.
And there's Baby. She's great too. But all is not well at this Ukrainian surrogacy clinic. The government might shut it, and others like it, down.
We're going down to the vault where they keep all the embryos they've stored. All the embryos are inside these.
Albert Tochilovsky lifts the lid.
Ish, that's cold. So these would have to be destroyed, all of them destroyed.
Embryos, he says, used by clients and infertile Ukrainian women. It could collapse his multi-million-dollar business.
It will mean death to me, and end the possibility for European families to have babies here, and the chance for income for Ukrainian women.
Biotech.com helps childless couples all over the world. Ukraine's surrogacy laws leave birth mothers few legal rights, making women here, like Alessia, highly sought after and relatively well compensated, typically $20,000.
The financial situation in our family is bad. We've got big problems, so I have to help my husband earning money.
Natalia, a coal miner, is 7 months pregnant with her second surrogate baby, has come to Kyiv until the baby is handed off to its biological parents from Italy. For the first surrogacy, for Chinese parents, we bought an apartment, she says. This time wasn't an easy decision, but we did it to provide a better life for our own children.
Before the war, Biotech.com averaged about 450 successful surrogate births a year. Last year, that jumped to 600. Lawmakers in President Zelensky's party say that the war has so impacted the population here that no children should be allowed to leave the country. They declined our request to explain their proposed law in more detail.
Alessia and her husband Harik have 2 children already and want the possibility of another surrogate and of helping put love into another couple's lives.
That happiness will arrive in another home. Someone else must feel joy, not only ourselves.
The benefits of this surrogacy for them have already been life-changing. Enough money to flee their dangerous frontline home.
This surrogacy saved us. Thanks to this, we are sitting here in safety.
Lives, many of them yet to be born, at stake on this pending government decision. Nick Robertson, CNN, Kyiv, Ukraine.
Проект закону про застосування допоміжних репродуктивних технологій та замінне материнство. Прошу народних депутатів голосувати. Рішення не прийнято. Рішення не прийнято.
All right, so we back, right? So as you see there, right, the women over there in Ukraine, this is the way they can make some money to help out their family, get them about $20,000. So they're in there, you know what I'm saying? Rent a vagina. Big business. All over international. So you see that last part of the video there was showing you that how they, I guess you say, the politicians end up going past that because it's big business, but you know there's the war, right? Right? And it's probably prohibiting business, right? So I said, okay, all right, so what is this all about? What is that really about, right? Y'all remember I talked about this movie here, right? Y'all remember me talking about this movie here, Children of Men? I don't know if any of y'all seen that, but there was a movie that came back out I think it was in 2000, had to be somewhere between 2000, I think 6 or 7, I think it came out. I remember we went to the show to watch it. And based on this here, it was predicated on the fact that there was coming a time, catastrophic, what they say, I guess they say a demographic catastrophe about people not being able to replicate themselves, right? And so when you see in this movie here, you see that they show the scene of the people being concerned about the stuff like that. And then they showed on the screen there, they had showed that the little boy, little Diego, was like the last person who was born, but he had died. He was on about 18. They had it down to the months and days and so forth. And that was to let them know there was going to be no progress, because the youngest person of the whole nation was this cat here, and then he ended up dying. So that was like the projection of no more children to be born. But then you know what ended up happening? You know who came? And who, out of all them who was having babies, the only one who can have babies, y'all. So you know how the young boy and talking about how got to protect our babies out here? See, we still doing natural, right? But I'm gonna trip y'all out. I got something they're gonna trip you out. Gonna trip you out. Because we talked about biotech.com, but I'm gonna show you who the owner is, some of the things he said, and then I'm gonna show you that they got something that they're building, that the rate that they're gonna be producing according to what they're saying. I seen a video the other day. What was her name? Katy Perry. Her eye was like stuck in shit. Like her eye went down, but it was stuck, and she had to put her hand to the side to get her eye to work. I was like, well, damn, is she one of these? Now, surrogacy is just somebody having a baby. But when I show you this other thing, they say it hasn't come to fruition yet. But those of us who've been around know that a lot of times the technology that end up coming out, they being for the public, when it finally started becoming in our hands, it's old and been used, and they know all the ins and outs, and then they let the public get it, right? And so maybe it's already been, people used to say that people were cloned and so forth and things like that, right? But let me show y'all something here, right? Let me show y'all something. So the black woman was the only one in that movie, Children of Men, that can only have children. Did you ever see the movie called the Handmaid's Tale? Right? The Handmaid's Tale was about them it was about white people and white children, and getting the women they would gather, and they would have babies for the men that were a little bit more prominent, and then they were suppressing the children of Ham, who they were saying the children of Ham, right? So let's see. He talked about that war, right? Let me show you about that war that was again with Ukraine and Russia. Look at this and be right back. Check this out.
Attacks are devastating entire communities. This video was taken shortly after bombs fell on a children's hospital in the city of Mariupol. You can see women from the maternity ward being rescued from the debris. The World Health Organization says at least 18 health providers have been hit since Russia invaded Ukraine. Vice President Kamala Harris is in Warsaw this morning, the capital of Poland, to meet with NATO allies. Chris Livesay is reporting for us from Odessa in southern Ukraine. Chris, good morning.
Good morning, Nate. Ceaseless shelling despite a ceasefire. The latest blast in Mariupol killing at least 3 people and wounding more than a dozen of the city's most vulnerable civilians.
Ending life where it's meant to begin. A maternity and children's hospital bombed in the strategic port city of Mariupol, wounding doctors, the young and the old, and trapping others beneath the rubble. Pregnant women about to give birth now running for cover. A blood-stained mattress, broken incubators, and a massive crater make up all that's left of this alleged war crime. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky.
They want us to feel like animals because they blocked our cities, the biggest cities in Ukraine, and they blocked and because they don't want our people to get some food, water.
Yet another ceasefire shattered, one that should have allowed civilians to escape. Instead, they're encircled by Russian firepower, robbed of electricity, water, heat, and their dignity, forced in the panic to bury their dead in this mass grave. At least 1,200 civilians have been killed in the city since the war began, according to local
attacks are devastating entire communities.
So we back, right? All right, so that was they bombed. They said it was our children's hospital. I don't know if anybody remember hearing about that, but that's what that was, right? Serapio in Ukraine is the hospital they were talking about that, right? That's what it's saying. Now, why you have to ask yourself, why the hell they were bombing that? What are they bombing that for? Right? What they bombing that for? Is it because, again, it has some significance to something? Is it something that somebody trying to stop? No, I'm gonna go ahead and put that up there just in case somebody feels generous and want to give a contribution. See, we'll go another week. Right? So anyway, so we gotta say, okay, so what was it about then? What was strategically with the bomb in this particular place? Why would you do that? Why? I mean, there's some things that you would think that would not be, part strategic when you're talking about letting loose on something like that. Why would you be targeting something like that? Right? So let me show you the other pictures and stuff they're showing there, right? So you've seen there. Now again, is this propaganda? Is this what it is? I don't know. I just know what the reports say. But then I'm also being here in our land. You know how somebody, remember maybe a show or two I told you where, what was her name? What was that woman, that sister said not sister, but that woman that said we go down to the borders and wanted to propose we fight for the borders. And then she was talking about these astronomical numbers when it came to giving money to Ukraine. Remember, y'all? Remember? It was $75 billion. That's right. Right. Now, I gave you some numbers earlier that said 2002 it was worth this, and it's projected to move to what? 129 by 2032. Think about it. It's a lot of money, right? And so we was just wondering, like, okay, well, maybe some of the money is going there for something else, right? You don't know, right? So look at the crater. They show the crater right there, right? Crater, right? Okay. So you just have to wonder, right? Right? Sometimes we don't be knowing all the ins and outs. We be hearing stories, and we just have to say, well, is that what that is? We don't know. But we know biotech is the same area, same place as what they said in this story here. What's the significance there? It being Ukraine, and we know in our land, and in this land here, the United States, that a lot of money has been forked over there. And they said that this particular industry is booming because it's producing for mass international surrogacies. Now, what I want you to see here, I want to show you the owner in his own words, and I want you to hear some of the things that he's talking about. Let me show you this right quick, y'all. Put that on the screen for me, sir, so everybody can see that. Because like I say, sometimes it's ahead of its time, maybe not. Some people may take it that way. Can you take that other one down for me, sir? Appreciate that. All right. So we're going to hear the wisdom of Albert Tokolowski, right? Tokolowski, owner of Ukraine's biggest surrogacy business, right? Now, he's talking about since the care base where they use the IVF clinic, what they call, which is the biotech com. They said it's probably the largest surrogacy agency in the world. It said that the owners, that they're thinking about how the future of assist reproductions are worth recording. There was an interview done by this Albert Tokolowski in 2019, and he was talking about how that there are 3 dynamic trends in the reproductive medicine. They talk about the genome editing to produce designer babies, mitochondrial replacement to enable women in their 50s and 60s to become pregnant. And then he talked about ectogenesis. Keep that in mind. Ecto, E-C-T-O, genesis, or artificial wombs. Okay, keep that in mind. I'm going to show y'all something. Now, keep that in mind. That's what he's talking about, right? Okay. And so I'm going to show you. Let me line that up, right? And so these, what he said. He said he thinks that we will acquire ectogenesis within the next 5 to 7 years. Where we at right now? 2023, 5 and 23 is 28. 2008, 7, it'll be 2030, huh? 2030, right? 2030. Remember when I played the Joe Biden when he said in 2015 that he said in 2017 total 50%. Remember that whole thing for those who have been here and seen that, right? Let me show y'all something. So it says that 5 to 7 years, he said their clinics are working in this direction. The clinics that he talking about, you see the bomb that they did over there and so forth and so forth, right? He said that Ukraine will let us, again, they talking about the legislation, will Ukraine let them do this because they said Ukraine is scared of everything, legislative-wise, right? But they said most likely ectogenesis will be allowed in the mention above where they talk about America and Great Britain. Okay, ectogenesis. Okay, they talk about how the problem of urbanization is pressing there. Only 2% of the population is in agriculture. Consider this to be a highly developed society. And the women here, they are more focused on their careers. And by the time they reach about 40 to 45, and then after that, they want to have children, right? Well, a lot of times today, they tend to women 40 and above, when they have children, the baby come out to be having some kind of, issues, let's put it that way, right? So they say that immigration will help to solve this issue. Let me say that one again. Immigrants will help to resolve this issue. They say they believe in the future this problem will be solved through the use of ectogenesis and the mitochondria replacement. Okay, so there's some things that they're working on. They got in the laboratory. Okay, there's some things in the laboratory that they're trying to get together and work it out. And so you might be saying, well, what is that, Mr. Moore? What is this ectogenesis? Now I want to show you this right before we go there, right? Let me show you this right quick. So this here is a map. And what that map is showing you is that when you see at the bottom of it, it says allowed. Purple is limitations. And the kind of a pinkish purple or pinkish reddish or pinkish pink or pink reddish, whatever you want to call it, prohibit or not used. As you can see, if you know your map, geography, you'll see that the blue area covers pretty much all of Canada, Alaska, the United States, but in Mexico has limitations. Certain parts back past that, you got prohibited, right? Brazil, you see, got some limitations in certain parts, and then you have prohibited not used in other parts. Africa pretty much has prohibited not used. South America looks like you got some limitations to it. And then you got one spot down there looks like allowed, right up on there, look like Ethiopia, right? And and then you have Asia, seem like you have it over there allowed in Asia, right? So we see that the United States in itself is part of this. Okay. Now that's the individual there. That's that Albert. Let me show you who it is. This the cat here, right? That's this Albert Tochilowski. Albert Tochilowski. Right? He's the owner of that biotech.com, right? Which is going to also be what you're about to see, right? So let me show you what these ecto babies. I'm gonna give you a nice portion of it. There's a lot more. There's about maybe 4 more minutes more. But what I'm going to give you now is going to be sufficient enough to show you where I'm going with this. Check this out. Be right back.
Introducing Ectolife, the world's first artificial womb facility, powered entirely by renewable energy. Ectolife allows infertile couple to conceive a baby and become the true biological parents of their own offspring. It's a perfect solution for women who had their uterus surgically removed due to cancer or other complications. With Ectolife, premature births and C-sections will be a thing of the past. Ectolife is designed to help countries that are suffering from severe population decline, including Japan, Bulgaria, South Korea, and many others. The facility features 75 highly equipped labs. Each state-of-the-art lab can accommodate up to 400 growth pods or artificial wombs. Every pod is designed to replicate the exact conditions that exist inside the mother's uterus. A single building can incubate up to 30,000 lab-grown babies per year. Ectolife allows your baby to develop in an infection-free environment. The pods are made of materials that prevent germs from sticking to their surfaces. Every growth pod features sensors that can monitor your baby's vital signs, including heartbeat, temperature, blood pressure, breathing rate, and oxygen saturation. The artificial intelligence-based system also monitors the physical features of your baby and reports any potential genetic abnormalities. The pods are equipped with a screen that displays real-time data on the developmental progress of your baby. These data are sent directly to your phone so you can track your baby's health from the comfort of your zone. The app also provides you with a high-resolution live view of your baby's development. A special section in the app allows you to watch a time-lapse of your baby's growth and share it directly with your loved ones. Because babies can recognize language and learn new words while still in the womb, Ectolife growth pods feature internal speakers that play a wide range of words and music to your baby. Through the app, you can choose the playlist that your baby listens to. You can also directly sing to your baby and make them familiar with your voice before birth. Our goal is to provide you with an intelligent offspring that truly reflects your smart choices. Ectolife improves your bonding experience with your baby. Thanks to a 360 degrees camera that's fitted inside your baby's growth pod, you can use your virtual reality headset to explore what it's like to be in your baby's place. See what they see and hear what they hear. Using a wireless haptic suit connected to your baby's growth pod, you will be able to sense their kicks in the womb and share this experience with your friends and family members. With Ectolife, your baby will receive the best nutrients that can support their growth. Each group of pods is connected to 2 central bioreactors. The first bioreactor contains nutrients and oxygen, which are supplied to your baby through an artificial umbilical cord. This bioreactor also contains a liquid solution that serves as the amniotic fluid that surrounds babies in the mother's uterus. It's rich of vital hormones, growth factors, and antibodies that sustain.
Oh, we are back, right? We back, right? Ecto babies coming. They coming. You heard what Tobolowsky said, 5 to 7 years. It's in the making. Right now, that's kind of like a demo of what's to come. Anybody remember seeing 6 Day? What was it? Was it 6 Day? What was the other one Arnold was in when he had Total Recall? What was the dog name? Had to get the dog and so forth. Oh no, then maybe had the little dial. I guess from Chucky from the dial into you know what I'm saying? What? They said wombs. These are wombs, y'all. You know, back in the day, if Mr. Smith's still in here, Chia. Remember Chia pets, right? Right? Chia. But they said they are going to be able to produce what? They said about 30,000 babies per year. So about 10 years, 300,000, 20, So after a while, there's going to be a whole bunch of, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. What that movie Will Smith did? They said AIs, but I don't. D-Baby, I guess they real. I guess maybe a little real. I know this is a model. This ain't real. But I mean, what the Think about that, man. That's serious business, man. That the science is being used to do this because there is a definite need. And so, with that being said, as I showed you with children of men, the one that only could have it, then you think you're not the target. Now, this ain't about no fear. This is just food for thought, right? Ain't the target then? If other people if everybody else got to make their offsprings, and again, they're gonna be able to make their babies where they're disease-free, and again, remember NBA 2K, you're gonna make your player, right? You're gonna be able to do that. Remember some of designer babies, you make it where he's gonna be tall, but you know what I'm saying, where he's gonna be able to, have all type of skills. So a disadvantage to just the regular human, right? Versus the AI. What was that? Kurt? What was that? What was that movie? Well, I think it was. What was the movie? Was it Matt Damon? I think he did a movie too, where they were kind of AIs too, right? Bourne, Jason Bourne, some shit like that, right? You're gonna be before you know. I guess after a period of time, kind of like just like you said in the beginning, like some of us who were in the game before from the first quarter, and then you come in by halftime or third quarter, we see the game different than what you see in the game, and then when you gonna be where I am, and then you gonna see the transformation. You're gonna be like, I remember when Mr. Blow Your Mind talked about that shit. I remember it. I see it now. Yeah, maybe. Right? If we're going to get that along. Because, you got to say, as I said in the beginning, investment. Somebody is investing in something. Remember, investment isn't just about money. Remember, we talked about the military part, right? So that's military part of that, right? Ain't that something, huh? 30,000. 30,000 of these mugs here. And after a while, you're going to have 1 million and so forth and so on. Next thing you know, won't be no need for no humans or beings, because human can mean, what was that? What is it? The Ballinger's, I think it's Ballantyne's Law Dictionary 1930 says a human is a creature. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it is. I think it's the Valentine's Law Dictionary, 1930, first edition. I don't know what edition it was, but I think it says that a human being is a monster. A lot of times we be saying human, right? So I don't know, is it man, mankind? What is a mankind? What is a man? In the story they all talked about with the nation of Islam, they talk about Yaqub. Well, yo, Yaqub, gonna make it once again, big head scientist, and went in the laboratory, gonna come out of the way to keep himself at where he needs to be, because I done did in so many shows. If you haven't watched it, if you ain't never been over here, welcome to the most hated show in the black corner of YouTube. I'm your host, Mr. Blows Your Minds. This is WeUpReport, but it is Mr. Blows Your Mind show. I do have another channel that I've been hoping that y'all go over there and subscribe so that YouTube finally cut me a check, right? I think I need to get, I don't know if it's 50 subscribers, whatever. I think they'll change. It used to be 1,000. I think it's lower now. So if you haven't gone over there, do that much for a brother, right? You do that much for me. You want to help me out. If you can't do nothing else, if you want to do any other kind of way, if you feel like anything we do over here is give you some insight, a little bit of something, you can always go over here and throw a $1, $2, well, whatever you got. We take spare change, right? We take it all, right? So anyway, with that being said, so yeah, if they doing that, right? So that means as the future coming. So again, I told you, those of us who have children, I would like to say from 12 down, they're already the majority, right? And all these other nations are also having problems having babies. Yes, Mexicans having problems. Yes, the Chinese, and they all having problems. They all having problems. But you know who ain't having no problem? The one who ain't having no problem, let me show you. That's the one who ain't having no problem. But we got to do something to it, though. Right? We got to do something to him or do something to her. Either one of the two, right? So the question going to become then, all right, so with that being said, can anybody afford to go toe-to-toe? And if they go toe-to-toe, think about this. If they do go toe-to-toe, who they going to use?
It's you liberals who have lifted them up, Howard.
Paul, you conservatives make a mistake. You can't afford to strangle hope in people. Without hope, people become dangerous.
No, Howard, you liberals have let them invade our society. You give them jobs, political jobs.
Paul, you missed the point. It's only the smart ones we move up.
That makes it even worse.
No, we have to move them up. If we leave a smart one in the ghetto, he might develop into a leader against us. But if we raise him up into white society, we neutralize him. He feels compelled to try to act like us. He loses his identity and his racial anger, if he has any. He becomes alien to his brothers. They realize he sold them out and they grow to hate him. He becomes worthless to them and safe for us. No, thank you. In fact, in his love for the creature comforts, except for his color, he's become one of us.
It's you.
We are back, right? So I seen this. Did y'all hear anything about this? About the head of the U.S. Treasury Freedmen Bank Forum, Biden-Harris administration announces new private sector's commitment to invest $3 billion in community leaders supporting underserved small businesses and communities. Let me say that one more again. Ahead of the U.S. Treasury Freedmen Bank Forum, Biden-Harris administration announces new private sector's commitment to invest $3 billion in community lenders supporting underserved small businesses and communities. That shit sound good, don't it? That shit sound good, don't it? Oh shit, Freedmen Bank, $3 billion. Well, let's see what they're talking about, right? So they're talking about the U.S. Department of Treasury, and they have an annual Freedmen Bank Forum. Now, those of you who know your history and have been avid watchers over here, we have touched about the Freedmen Bank. You may know the history about the Freedmen Bank and what the Freedmen Bank in its inception and what it was about and so forth, and the scandal and so forth, right? So they saying in 2023, right, that the Freedmen Bank has an annual Freedmen Bank. We thought they collapsed and went out of business, but I see they kept the building, right? Right, so it's still going according to what they said, right? Now, according to what they said there's 30 private sector companies and foundations who are going to invest in underserved communities. Now, right off the bat, those of us who cut from the cloth, American Indigenous, Indigenous, Niji Moore, all the above and telling, we will call it the Black Americans, underserved communities. Oh, we know that. We've been here, we've been struggling. Again, we have some roses that grow out of the concrete. We do be having some of those that grow out of the concrete, but many of our people are still, a lot of us still down here, right? And so that sound like, well, there's a possibility that rain can come down and, get down to the low end, right? It sounds like it's going to do that, right? 30 private sector companies, okay. And they said they're going to secure $3 billion in deposits for community development financial institutions. Okay, wait a minute. They're going to secure $3 billion in deposits for community development financial institutions. Okay. What them say, Mr. Blow Your Mind? Well, it sounds like they saying they're going to put $3 million in some kind of deposit, and those 501c3 not-for-profit organizations are going to be the ones that they're going to use to facilitate to the people who are of the underserved communities. Has that ever worked? Has that ever worked? When it comes to does it work? Maybe the thing is maybe we don't have enough of them. Maybe we don't have enough of our own people who got those 501c3s where they can help and go back and give the money that is allocated in situations like this back to the people in our community. Maybe that's what don't be happening. That should be happening, but we don't have enough of them. But then they'll do some project like this, and then we're not in a position to get, right? So we have to say then, who did they do this for? If you kind of already know, because you're using Freedmen Bank, and Freedmen Bank got a history with a specific people, so shouldn't they be like, if it was a lien on the property, shouldn't they be first priority? You would think they would be, right? So they talk about how these companies that's investing in American sectors, the semiconductor manufacturer, they talk about certain things they're going to produce that's going to be, I guess, lanes for people to be able to get some kind of employment. Semiconductor manufacturing, clean energy manufacturing, transportation, heavy industry, bio manufacturing. Bio. Okay. Okay. They got domestic supply chains by committing to at least 15% of their U.S.-based contracts. Okay. See how that sound good? Contracts. Sound like, someone got a possibility to get one of these nice semiconductor or clean energy manufacturing, the heavy duty industry, bio, all that. Sounds good. Give me a plate of that. Give me a bag of that, right? And many people say, oh, yeah. Give me some of that, right? Now, what I want to show you is, let's look at this language that they're going to be talking about. Now, they say outside of goods and services from small and underserved businesses by 2025. That's what? Wait a minute. We only got about tomorrow, November. So we got 30 days, 31 days, then we got a year. So we wait a minute. We 365 and 60. What is that about? What, 325? No, wait a minute. I'm gonna take it about 425. About what's that? 3? I said 3. Yeah, right. Right. About 525. Right. 463. No, wait. 365 6. Right. 425. I got it right. Right. 425. Right. 425 days from now, they finna start with some of this. Now again, who is out here talking about this and gonna do this again? Are we in positions to get ourselves? Because when you say Freedmen Bank, that automatically should be like, shit, we pull your plate out. I don't know, did anybody get one of those infrastructure jobs? I ain't heard nobody told me nothing. Remember the information I told y'all? It ain't been months of work. Ain't nobody said nothing. The only person over here told about the infrastructure job, that was me, was it not? Okay. So let's look at this. Let's look at who they talking about in this. Is they talking about us? Is they talking about us? Is they talking about us, or is it kind of a blanket statement and kind of like diversity and minorities, and that opens the door to other people, does it not? They also said that Google has committed to spend at least $1 billion annually. I wish they fixed my damn channel, get me off this damn 100. How about that? Shit, you ain't got to give me none of the $1 billion. Just make my channel, leave my damn channel on, and let me be able to get open. Other than the 100 I get per every week. I get 100 views a week. I'm lucky to get anything beyond that and can't get past 20 likes. No matter if y'all put it this way, the last video, by the time I got off and by hit that next day, it was at 18. Ain't moved but 1 since then. So I know they got it locked, but that's okay. It don't matter, right? But anyway, so they said they saying they got Google gonna commit to $1 billion annually. And they said who they want to give their money to. Now listen to this. Diverse-owned suppliers in the United States. Diverse-owned suppliers in the United States. Is that Black Americans, indigenous, and touches needy Moors? Or is that all the above? All the above, right? Diverse. They're talking about these investments will facilitate, they say, a growth of diverse set of suppliers. Now, remember they said they're going to do small businesses, right? Keep this in mind now. Small businesses. Sustain economic benefits in underserved communities. Okay. You know that could be a problem, right? Because there's some creations right now due to what's going on, right? Matter of fact, I got a video I want y'all to see real quick. Did y'all hear about what happened over in Chicago? How they was out there attacking that alderman? But there's something unique about this. You want to see this? Be right back. Check this out.
Take a look at the middle of your screen. A Chicago alderwoman swarmed by a group of protesters angry over a plan to house migrants in Brighton Park. Now at 4, Mayor Brandon Johnson condemns the protesters' actions, calling them unconscionable.
Now, this all happened at a construction site near 38th and California, where the city plans to build a winterized base camp to shelter migrants. CBS 2's Sabrina Franza was there. She witnessed all that chaos firsthand. Sabrina.
Murray, we were on the ground as this protest unfolded. One thing was abundantly clear. Neighbors are angry that a tent base camp seems to be coming to 38th and California. The protest began peacefully. That changed as time went on. Alderwoman Julie Ramirez found herself at the center of that anger.
Chicago wants to help, but we don't have the resources to help.
This was the message at 38th and California this morning.
We felt very stabbed in the back.
The lack of transparency surrounding the proposed migrant tent base camp in Brighton Park has neighbors feeling blindsided.
This change scares me. I used to feel safe here, and I really don't anymore.
CBS 2 broke the news of the camp possibly coming to 38th in California last Friday. In almost a week's time, construction has ramped up.
What about our immigrants that have been here?
Alderwoman Julia Ramirez offered to host a community meeting next Tuesday. This protest was organized much sooner. Someone lit fireworks outside the construction site. At one point, protesters seemed to try to push into the entrance, reaching a boiling point as Alderwoman Ramirez came to address constituents. Quickly, she was swarmed by people. Her staff members shielded her as the crowd grew. Police joined them as the shouting continued. In a statement, the alderwoman later said, quote, "It became clear that most of the protesters did not want to engage in a peaceful dialogue." Finally, police were able to escort her and her staff member away. The aide she was with went to the hospital for treatment. Reading more from the alderwoman's most recent statement, she's calling on the mayor's office for, quote, transparency, accountability, and more local involvement in the decision-making process about all of this. As we've reported and have heard from multiple aldermen, the final decision on where the tents go is ultimately that of Mayor Johnson. In the newsroom, Sabrina Franza, CBS.
Somebody here try to hack me. One of y'all sitting out there trying to hack me. I see my whole shit jump when you try to get in here. I seen it. It's all good, right? So now what I'm going to connect is the fact is, again, now see, here's in Chicago, that remember they were talking about the migrant, again, you got the migrant crisis, and because of wintertime, they want to build those camps, right? Now, if you're going to have this migrant crisis and then they're going to be living in these places, they're here to get some kind of employment, right? And then you see that the Biden administration in them is talking about back over here in that Freedmen Bureau Forum, they're talking about 30 sectors, $3 billion. Is all this got something to do with some of this? Is that who are going to get some of this? Because let me show you what I'm talking about. Because you know, they pissed off because here now look at the people that you see out here in this community. That's a migrant community, and they don't want migrants. You know what I'm saying? They people who went through the process, been here maybe a generation or so. Matter of fact, I think one of the aldermen, that Jehu Gutierrez, remember I talked about her and maybe showed it to you and told you that she was a DACA. And now this one here, this Julia Gutierrez, can't find no background on her. I wonder if she's one. And then they said throw them over in their section. And then you see the people over there, they snapping about it. They don't like it. But yet they already doing what? They over there doing construction. They over there putting this construction already together, getting it set up, right? They over there putting that construction together. Gonna build for them, right? So you got to say, how are you letting so many people in and you say you ain't got no place for them? And then the other thing is too, how they gonna maintain their livelihood? Just ironically, they just let out again. When I told you going back to this, we're gonna go back to the Freedmen Bank Forum. And again, the Freedmen Bank Forum has got something to do with again, Black American types of dignity more and so forth, anything, right? Because that had to do with our people, our ancestors. And then the story that's in it is the fact that how it went belly up, how we lost all our money. I've did some research to kind of find out that I see the ties in between the railroad and how the railroad, when you talk about the Union Pacific and I think Central Pacific and the Union Pacific at that particular time in 1862, went and had got a contract with the government, with Lincoln and them, signed, I think it was the act for it. And the stipulation was for every miles of what they would get some of the contract. I think Central Pacific, I think it was Union Pacific had so many miles already, so they were able to get some of the money, but not enough to keep them going. The Central Pacific didn't have none. But one of the persons that's tied into that was a part of that, was in the military. He was the one that came up with the idea of creating that Freedmen Bank. Oh, we're going to lay that out. Not tonight, though. I'm just giving you a little preview. Well, I'm going to go with that. Huh? That, you know what I'm saying? So my thing is, when you talk about this Freedmen Bank, I think it's blasphemous that what I'm about to show you, let me show you something real quick. Let me show y'all something real quick. I seen somebody put this letter out here, and they were showing that in this letter, who they was going to serve in this. Now, I don't know if you can see that on your screen, so I may have to read it and tell you what it say, but just give me 1 second here on my end here. I'm having a little technical difficulty because I told you something. Somebody was in here trying to hack up in here, as they always do, right? So that's what I'm saying. The question becomes, you got a lot of people that's in here, you know, they try to cry and say, oh, it's only a couple thousand. Yeah, that's what they mouth say, right? We don't know what that number is. Matter of fact, we heard, what was his name, Schumer, say, I don't know, 11 million, I don't know how many it is, but we're going to try to make a legislation that all of them could be. What do you mean 11 million? Y'all been saying that? Remember, I do the news, right? I do the news. So I know when you said what you said, and I know how long you've been saying that, and I know that number got to be much bigger than that. Got to be. Ain't no way it's still 11 as long as you've been saying that. So, okay, let me, I think y'all got on y'all screen. You can see it, right? But give me 1 second because I got some technical difficulties over here on my end. And I'm going to go ahead and show you what I'm talking about on this here. And what it says, you might be able to see it on your screen, but you may not be able to see it in its entirety. So I'm going to have to lay it out for you. Give me 1 quick second here. 1 quick second, y'all. Appreciate y'all in here. Those haven't clicked like, share, subscribe. Appreciate that. Again, we the most hated show in the black corner of YouTube. Been in the business 12 going on 13 years. You never heard of me because why? Because they say you ain't supposed to hear me. Whoever, when I did the video back in April 1st of 2014, can you believe I ain't even 3,000 subscribed right now, but I had 214,000 views, 300,000 views on a video. You know that's viral. You know that's viral. For over here, what we do, those are in the black corner of this section, what we do. Give me 1 second, y'all, because I seen my equipment do like a voltage, like a jump. So I know somebody came, because the number was about 6, 7 at that time, and something had happened. So give me 1 second. This kind of, we having some slow ups over here. So give me 1 second. Just in case, go ahead and throw that up there for me. Those who didn't do it already, I appreciate it if you go ahead and do one of them. Subscribe, like, share. We got another channel, WeUpReport. Same way, WeUpReport. Go over there, subscribe. Even if you don't come back, just go over there, subscribe, because we're gonna force somebody's hands. You know, one way or another. I know they be in here. They be in here watching. They come and make sure I don't get past a certain amount. But it's okay. All right, right now we are. I mean, it really got me over here like dragging. Yeah, my videos don't drag though, but everything else seems to be dragging. All right, give me 1 second. I got it right here. Boom. And oh shit, what is that? That ain't what I did. Can you do what I asked you to do? All right, and then just in case somebody who want to donate $1 or $2, we welcome that. All right, I mean, it got me straight spinning, cycling, y'all. That's what's on my end. All right, let me see, hold on. Yeah, I am straight cycling. All right, come on. Why is it over there? All right, hold on. 1 second. Shit, how many? Okay. Yeah, still cycling. It's cycling. All right. You see, it says the Freedmen Bank Forum was launched in 2015, following then the Treasury Secretary Jack Lew christening of the Treasury Annex as the Freedmen Bank building, serving as, okay, I can't see that deal. I'm trying to read off the screen my damn self. Okay, here you go. Hold on. It just popped up. Hold on, y'all. Yeah, okay. We'll do it that way then. Yeah, it's something causing it to do that. Hold on. Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that, y'all. Sometimes I can get away with shit. Sometimes I can't. Sometimes I have some technological skills, for my age group. Most of us, but I used to I know a cat in high school, he was on that shit. He was making games and shit. And so I learned shit early in the game when it was starting out, teaching me how to do the .o, all that shit. And so I'm fairly, knowledgeable when it comes to doing this shit. So, but at this point, it's this congestion right now. Got it all congested up. Okay, wait a minute. Here we go. Here we go. Use this one then. I mean, they really got it clogged the hell up, right? All right, here we go. I got it now. All right, since the Freedmen Bank Forum was launched in 2015, following the Treasury Secretary Jack Lew's christening of the Treasury and Annex as the Freedmen Bank Building, it served as an annual convening for diverse groups to ideate new approaches to address economic equity and build new connections for executing these ideals. The forum is named, now check this out, y'all. The forum is named for the Freedmen Saving and Trust Company. Do y'all ever realize why did they call it a trust company? How did according to the story says slaves had a trust? What did they have that was the trust? Gotta look at sometimes you gotta look at what's being said. What is the damn trust? How can some people who was on a plantation who had nothing, you're gonna build a bank and gonna say trust in it? Don't they just need a regular ass bank? No? Well, there's some knowledge out there, some people who will tell you that the Civil War wasn't the real Civil War the way you think it was. More was when Lincoln did that Confiscation Act of 1862, that there was some confiscating of some lands taken that somebody had owned. Right? But that's another story for another time. Because I'm going to tell you another part to that, but I won't go that yet. So just keep that in mind. Lincoln did call the Confiscation Act of 1862 originally, right? So now you got that it says, now this letter that you're seeing on here, somebody posts who got this that was supposed to attend. And that's how I got this. And so it's telling you, now listen to the language it says on here. It says that the forum is named for the Freedmen Saving and Trust Company, which was established in 1865 to provide newly emancipated Black Americans with the financial mechanisms to safeguard their earnings, build financial security, and generate family wealth. Okay? Now, if that's the case, if that's what the Freedmen Bureau Bank was, and if the Freedmen Bank went out or went defunct, how is it still existing to this day? Why are you still using it to this day? Again, it has the word trust in it. What trust? That's like property assets, right? So remember, you had the Homestead Act. Remember the Homestead Act? The first one came when? 1862 or 1863? They gave that Homestead Act. And then they gave the second one, I think, in 1866. And then they had put they canceled it when what's his name? Johnson came in. When Johnson came in, he reneged everything from the 40 acres and the mule, and then they also reneged on the Freedmen, not the Freedmen Bureau, but the Homestead Act 2, and then put that we had to pay for an application fee. Now, how you gonna put a charge on people that, according to the history, said they ain't got no money? They just came up a plantation. Sometimes you gotta go back and look at some of that stuff, right? But we ain't gonna touch that enough, but I just want to show this, right? Now, if I go back up a paragraph before that, now I'm just establishing, because again, this is what the Freedmen Bureau is about. It's about Black Americans in their history, and after emancipation, this is supposed to be the institution that was supposed to be holding the money. Because remember, those who are avid watchers over here that we talked about, remember we talked about how they said if those can get from the South, get to the Unions, and then they could fight in the Union Army. Remember, that's part of the story, right? And then because of them being supposedly property, that Lincoln wrote the Confiscation Act so that that they could take them, because this was became rogue states or rogue Union to the Union, or rogue Confederate to the Union, and to make it legal, they had to put the confiscation on. This is the story they tell, right? And so that legalized it, but then later on they said, was it legal what Lincoln did? So that's that whole back and forth. But the point I'm saying is, This is predicated on that. And so to make them contrabands and put them in the military, they had to pay them. Okay, so this is where they're establishing that they're gonna have money, right? Because they fought in the Civil War, they fought in the military, and they had to pay them. So when they came out after, okay, the war started January 1st, 1863, they go to about 65, 66. So those who survived was to the end. You got 4 years. By the time they got so much. So when they came out, they had money. So now somebody with the grandiose idea was sitting around and said, well, okay, these niggas gonna have some money. As I was telling you earlier, I think his name was it Benjamin? Something Benjamin, right? Going up top of my head. But he was in the military, with the Negroes, right? And he came with the idea of probably been in good partnership with so forth, and then connected some people. Now, who I'm trying to find out is who was the people in New York that set up the whole deal to set up the bank. Who was those in New York? Who was them bankers and stuff from New York that came up to Washington, D.C., sent their advocate up here to establish that? And the person that's helping them to establish it is one of the person who was one of the people who were part of the Union Pacific. Then they sell us what Frederick Douglass gave $10,000 to keep everybody from taking their money on the bank run. But the Union Pacific needed about a 50 million to 100 million. They said that's about how much money was in the Freedmen Bank. Next thing you know, black folks ain't got no money. And they said, we don't trust the bank. Then later after that, now suddenly the bank didn't trust us. But I got something I'm going to show you, though. Let me show you something. But let me show you something about in this letter in 2023, though. Let's move up 150-some years later, 160 years later. So, 158 years later. So they said the forum will bring together the nation's foremost leaders from the public, private, social sectors to showcase the Biden-Harris administration. You know, they're selling that, right? Right? Well, we're doing something for you. You want to vote for us? Okay. So in driving the most equitable economy on record and investing in the American solution that unleashed the economic potential, now listen to this, of Black, Latino, AANHPI. What is AANHPI? What is that? Asian, something, PI, Native communities. Now, wait a minute. You cannot use, see, that's what we say we're doing some straightening in this mug, right? This is what we be talking about, Black Americans and something talking about. We're doing some straightening in this mug because you cannot graft in people who that don't pertain to. And if you grafting them in, you're putting them in. If you've seen at the top of my show where Malcolm said, rewrite, retell history, right? Freedmen Bank has nothing to do with Latinos, has nothing to do with Asians and North Pacific Islanders. Got nothing to do with that. And that's not being hateful. Got nothing to do with you. But yet, including you. You're talking about some infringing, huh? Right? You know how I have in the beginning Ann Coulter talking about what she said and how they commandeering. Look up the word commandeering. Isn't that what everybody come here to do? Because it's funny how if you come here through immigration, ain't there already packaged as an immigrant certain rights and part of the game when you apply and get green card? So how does that transfer and get onto with indigenous Americans, Black Americans attached to indigeneity? How does that work? How are you in that? And so now they're making a forum for a way to give you what? To help you get what? $3 billion to do what? Well, let me show you something. They came up with that because just the other, as I got off last week, let me show you something. Let me show you something. On your screen here. Right? You see on your screen there? Oh, take that down for me, sir. Take that down. You see that on your screen there? It says bank to pay $31 million for avoiding mortgages to minorities, largest such settlement in U.S. history. Let me say that one more again. Bank to pay $31 million for avoiding mortgages to minorities, largest such settlement in U.S. history. Okay? All right? Now, this just happened, right? Right in October. A lot of stuff fell out in October. Okay? Now, let me show y'all something. Let me tell you the nuts and bolts inside of what they're talking about here. Now, the Justice Department, they said they accused the Los Angeles-based City National Bank, okay, National City Bank or City National Bank, and they charged them for refusing to, for discrimination for refusing to underwrite mortgages, what they say in predominantly Black and Latino communities. Now, again, I'm not anti-Latino, right? Why is it every time when we know with the history that's dealing with Black, Indigenous, touches more needy Black Americans, it's never, ever solely, when yet you know solely this is the people it's been done to, right? So I'm in these people, but always have to have a sidekick. Always got to have a Robin. Always got to have a Chim Chim. I mean, yeah, way back, get that right, Smith? Chim Chim. Anybody know who Chim Chim is? Speed Racer, right? Spider had Chim Chim, right? The monkey, right? Anyway, so it's never solely. So they always got somebody inclusive, and we've been abused by a certain relationship. Matter of fact, there's abuse that is trying to be straightened out right now with Black and Latinos when it comes to hip hop. And some of the stuff I'm hearing out here, they ain't making no damn sense, but they still trying to do it anyway. We understand you ain't really got no history. We understand y'all don't have no real, and this is a good way to graft yourself in to promote yourself. Ain't nothing wrong with that, but be honest. If you can't go home and show us no origins of it being there, you can't go somewhere to say you made something because you've been a part of something. What's so hard about it? Why everybody try to treat us the way that history said that the oppressor or the one who has been the orchestrator of the disenfranchisement on and touching the indigenous Moors, indigenous aboriginals, so forth, Black Americans, right? And some people come here and to get their way, they'll side with them in order to get themselves in a position. We be like, wait a minute, hold on, man. Wait. Slow that up, man. Right? So here it is, Black and Latino communities are included in what they're talking about. Now, again, this is California in Los Angeles, right? But I'm going to show you something to see who really going to get the money. Let me show y'all something. Slow up. So they're going to require the banks to pay more than $31 million, and they call this the redlining the settlement in history. This is going to be $31 million, the largest settlement in redline history, right? And so they said not only was City National the latest bank in the past several years to be found systematic avoiding lending, but and racially against ethnic minorities, right? But we know that. We know before there was Latinos that's coming in about 1898, 1900. We've been here going through all that, right? We know again when the after Spanish American War, the annexing and taking Puerto Rico as part of booty or whatever that was. We get that. And you became annexed to it because of colonization or because of losing the booty of war. We get that. But we were already here, priority one. Nobody, when it comes to us, nobody wants us to get nothing. And if you say you do, y'all be bullshitting. You know y'all do. You just don't want to be honest about it. When it comes to us and time for something to get something, nobody. So we can't get none. And that's how a lot of attitudes is. We can't get none. You don't get none. Right? Okay. So I want to show y'all something more to this. Now keep that in mind. This is Los Angeles. So they talk about how the Justice Department talking about the 2017 to 2022, they said that the City National avoided marketing and underwriting mortgages in majority Black and Latino. Now think about this: avoid marketing. Okay, you don't petition, you don't market towards them, you don't advertise them because you say, well, let's look at it this way. Why would you market it to Black people when you know most of the Black people ain't got, can't afford it, can't pay mortgages? We talking about the working poor, right? The working poor. Even if the middle class got to save up enough pennies and so forth and maybe work their way up until didn't get it. So you say, you don't need to waste no money on that, right? Because that game already is rigged, right? And they said that when you're talking about underwriting and mortgage, that's the only way you can get a mortgage, correct? The only way you can get a mortgage is you have to have an underwriter. So if you got an institution, a bank that don't even have a person or an office for that, you automatically say, can't nobody come to this bank can get a loan. It's saying it without saying it, correct? But they said there was other banks that's operating in the neighborhood that would have 6 times the number of mortgage applications than this national bank, and that was according to some of the what the federal office had found. Right now, the reason I want you to see this, and so they were reluctant to operate in neighborhoods again with people of color. People of color is what? Diversity. That's everything other than just specifically one. Everybody knows it's kind of like, let's say, Palestine West. Oh, yeah, he said that. Palestine West. What do you mean by that, Mr. Blow? There is a correlation. There is some kind of comparison there. There's some identicalness in the stories. Maybe not in the same way you see it, but there's some history there. We're going to touch it. Maybe not, I don't know if tonight. Well, we had 2-hour minute. Okay, we might show that, right? There is a correlation. There is a similarity in the story, but not the way that they write the story here, but what may actually be the truth of that story. Right? So here it is, underwriting they don't have. So they decided to go ahead and make them pay the money, right? So let me show y'all something. If we talking about Los Angeles, let's just say we just looking at Los Angeles, because that's what they're talking about. But they say there's other banks, and it's been happening all the time. So we know that there's always been a problem. And my thing is also this. Is there a cause and effect when you deny a group of people that can't get loans? Because you hear a lot today that certain demographics, demographics of our people who will sit there and say, we don't build. You ain't doing enough, you ain't build. This is one of the main reasons why we ain't build. Going back from the federal Freedmen Bureau Board or the Freedmen Bureau Bank, right? And the collapse of that, and our not, let's say, having apprehension about putting money in the bank. That's why old folks put money in the mattress, hide in coffee cans, digging yards, right? They ain't put no money in no bank because of the history, right? And then look on the other end. The bank say, we not going to do nothing with you to do nothing because, again, what is the underwriter? The underwriter is like going to the damn club. He the nigga that's checking your pockets, patting you down, putting the wand to see if you got a gun and shit. That's what the underwriter is to the bank, right? He checking to make sure all your shit straight, your paperwork straight, because he know the game. He the one that's going to get you approved because he already know you. In order for you to qualify, certain things you got to have. So the underwriter already there. So if you don't have one or you got one that's already know the game and ain't going to push you forward, he like the bounce. I can't say the bounce. Well, I guess you could say he like the bounce. He done already check to see if you got you holding that goddamn it on you. You try to sneak something in here. Did you pay all that? Right? That's what the underwriter is when you're talking about loans and mortgages, right? So we had to say, okay, all right. So We don't get that. So that means the cause and effects is, let's say I don't get no house because I'm denied a loan because I make a certain amount, not quite enough, and it's denying me. So that means my children got to wait till they get old enough so they can get some money. And if they can qualify and say they don't get it, then so you be affecting generations. Generations. And then the thing is, what a lot of y'all don't realizing is, at a particular time in history where you could go lose a job on Monday and by Wednesday get another job, lose that job on Wednesday, and by Saturday get another when it wasn't as many people. And then if you've been an avid watcher over here, I showed you with the demographics and the census that in 1940, you had 1.5 or 1.6 million Hispanic people. We had 11 million people. By 1960, they came in, they had 9 million, and we about like maybe 14, 15 million. They catching up. How they had so many damn babies that quick? Maybe that was how they were coming in. By the time we get to 1990, they done caught us up. By 2000, they done passed us. You understand? So now what happens is, as you all this benign neglecting, it's having generational effects. People are not able to get shit because they can't get it. Now, if you come out of a family that has generations of education and people who, through college and so forth, you don't understand this. And a lot of y'all who come from that cannot relate to people who come from those situations because from your perspective, again, four-way street corner, an accident happened. You on one corner of the east, you on a corner west, you on a corner north, and you on a corner south. But when the crash happened, I don't know what you were preoccupied with. So I don't know when you turn. So when I get the report as the police, you're going to give me a different perspective from what you saw from when it happened. It's the same way with you who got money and come from people who don't come from the mud like many of us do. You can't articulate. You can't understand because you don't come from it. From your perspective, it's easy to just say, you know what? Y'all can just do, I don't even understand. Of course you don't understand. It's a language that's not understandable by you. You understand? A lot of y'all don't understand. So it's easy to say they lack the desire, they don't want. No. Somebody from the game, creation of the game, right? Go back to Mortimer and them, right? Right? Let me go back. We go back to who? The architects, huh? Randolph, Mortimer and them. When you go back to them, huh? When the architects created the damn game, when they created the game, somebody was deemed to be what they call them. You're going to be the consumer nation. Now, you're going to have some roses grow out of the concrete, but not enough to get the entirety, or we don't even have to have the entirety, but a majority of them. So we got to have the system, got to be capitalism, got to have a whooping boy. Somebody got to be in there to make these institutions and organizations and 501c3s make money. So somebody got to be that, and somebody designated this group for it. And then have perpetuated that by bringing more people in here to do what? To make it seem like they still don't want nothing. And people who come from even lower than the damn dirt, and now you can give them $1 where it's harder to get $1 where they're at. So it's funny how right as the motherfucking minimum wage went up, all of a sudden it's more people from everywhere else, so they don't got to pay that. So what you would have normally paid them, I can get 2-3 of them for that amount that I would pay you. But nobody caught that game. Nobody didn't catch that part, did you? You didn't see that part coming. But Mortimer and them, they knew what it was. They know what it is. Message. Huh? They know what it is. Message. You didn't catch it though. Right? You know, so they got them like Eddie had, they had Eddie in the back seat. They done told him what they finna do. We finna do the what? We need you to come in here. Right? We need you to come in here because we finna do what? What they finna do with them. This is what I'm finna show you, going back to what we talking about that Freedmen. Huh? They got them coming in here because they're gonna do what? They're gonna do the where is it? What that is? You ain't got that in there no more? Oh, yes, we do. There we go. They're going to come in here to do this, right? They coming in here so they can do this. You got the Freedmen Bank, but you talking about other people. You talking about $3 billion that you're going to give to underserved communities to give them an economic floor for small businesses. Black people been here long enough talking about some goddamn mom and pop stores. If that was the easiest, probably would have been done, did that already. But guess what? The bank told you ain't giving them no damn loan. That was part of the prerequisite of their game. So all of a sudden now to come up with this shit and say, oh, we're going to give this, it's only because they got caught. The Justice Department did that. Now, you have to say the way the game goes is, did they do that because, as King said, right? Y'all remember what King said? Y'all remember what King said, right? What he said, how'd it go again? What did he say? You know what King said? King talked about how, matter of fact, he did that before. Give me a second. Let me see how that go again. I think it go like, how did King say that? He said, damn, give me 1 second, y'all. 1 second. How did that go again? King said, he said, our government was giving away millions of acres of land. Not only did they give the land, they built land grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order to mechanize their farms. Not only that, today these people are receiving millions of dollars not to farm, and are the very people telling the black man that he needs to lift himself up by his bootstraps. Remember that, y'all? Remember when he said that? Still doing it to this day, ain't they? Still doing it to this day. Everybody still trying to act like this ain't true. There's something wrong with black people. They can't get right. And everybody finding every little channel around here keep finding ways to say negative things about black people, but don't want to look at the cause to the effect. Oh, that's way back there. Well, if you don't cure it back then and you don't cure it now, when did it ever get cured? It's supposed to magically go away? A lot of y'all, that's how a lot of y'all think. A lot of you come from bootlicks, and they taught you to think that damn way. But that ain't how you resolve nothing. You don't resolve nothing. So when you look at California, you look at Los Angeles, look at how many people in Los Angeles. How many people in Los Angeles? 3,789,485. It look like they say that, right? So you got 3.7 million people in Los Angeles. So let's say if we break that down. Let's say if I break it down. Right, look at that graph there, right? So I break that down. So I break that down a little bit. Let's look at this. What do you see there? According to it says the population of white people is 1,750,802. What they say about 44%. Other races 935. I don't know why they say other race when they talk about Hispanics. They both playing the game. He white sometimes and then he Hispanic other times, right? Then they got Asian at 457,224. Then they got two and more races. Again, okay, I say this out of education, not to be belittled, but the half-breed, right? The half-breed person is making his own lane now. He no black, he no white, he two race. And they at 380,000. Then you got black or African Americans at 335,973. Now, if we took them numbers, what they're showing on your screen there, right? And they're talking about they're going to get $31 million on that, again, what they did from the Justice Department. Who getting more of the money? Who getting most of that money? The two or more race, the Asian race, and the Hispanic race, and then we don't know how many of that black African American, whether them is Africans from Africa as Americans or black attached to the indigenous Niji Moors in there, right? We don't know. We don't know. We don't know. Then they show you, if you say Hispanics, now watch how the number change, right? So again, I still don't see Hispanic on there. I see the white number has dropped according to what the other one showed. Now it's 655,543 for white folks. Then other race, which is other race must be Hispanic, 916,938. Asians go to 6,463. Two or more races now go to 267,000, right? So it's flip-flopping. Blacks even got smaller when you say Hispanic. That's funny. You say Hispanic in the black section went to 12. So there's 12,821 black Hispanics in Los Angeles who qualify, right? So okay. So if I say non-Hispanics, right? If I say non-Hispanic, then watch how the number change again. So now you see how the other race now went down to 18,000. So that was showing that the Hispanic was hiding inside the other race that didn't want to say Hispanic. And then the white number now is just see 1,095,259 as just pure white folks, right? Asians at 450,000. Then you got Black Americans at 324,000 in Los Angeles. Now, as they break that money up and allocate it, they won't get the, okay, they only 8% of that, or, well, 8% of that. How much money would they get out of that 31 million? There ain't a lot of damn money, no damn way. There ain't no damn money, right? There ain't no money, as they were showing, right? There ain't no money in that. So now when you go back to the Freedmen Bureau, as they were showing the Freedmen Bureau, they threw everybody in there to get part of the $3 billion. But again, they're using the Freedmen Bank history institution to incorporate people. See, this is the problem we're having. A lot of people are grafting in, as again, Ann Coulter said, commandeering. There seems to be some work at hand. Again, there's the top of the show. What is the name of the show? Investments of other kind. Investment don't also mean the money. It was also a military strategy. It's also military, right? To encircle, to siege, some investment going on, right? So again, they say Google gonna give $1 billion. They want to give it to diverse owned suppliers in the United States. A lot of people coming here from other countries. They tell black people, well, a lot of them people come here, they're educated and so forth. They already got trade and da-da-da-da. Okay. So we know that all they need is, as King said, an economic floor to help them get stable. While a lot of our people have gone through generations of people being deprived, not being able to get dilapidated areas, uneducation, a lot of incarceration, and then the expansion of opportunities has lessened because even the children now having a hard time finding a place. That's why a lot of teenagers out here doing the things they're doing. Used to be a time where teenagers of a young age would be out here be able to find work. They worked at McDonald's, Wendy's, those places like that. Not today. People who are a little older, who done failed, who were just laborers, and a lot of those places that where labor was used aren't there anymore, so they have to downsize to places so have, and they competing with children. That's what they supposed to do. So everybody getting displaced. But somebody said, well, to bridge the financial disparities, right, that hold so many of our communities back, they combine the capacity of the private sector, the scale that only the government can provide. Now, again, they say the government. But when it comes to Black Americans and Tata Digi Moors, nothing has been able to cure that. Matter of fact, I think in the 60s, they came with the benign neglect policy. Say, well, we got to stop worrying about the racial policy. Let's let them pull this somebody bootstrap. How are you going to do that when you've been, the game of sabotage? You got it booby trapped. You prohibit it. How you supposed to do that shit? A lot of people ain't gonna talk real. They scared about it because they make you seem like I'm the fucking racist because I'm just gonna keep it 100. I ain't no fucking racist. I'm gonna just tell it like it TI is. So here it is. People want to parade and put in front of us and say, we're willing to put $3 billion in underserved communities and help them. Well, you're gonna make money because you're investing, right? So you got 30 companies at $3 billion. So each company pretty much about 100 million each. Put in, you said, in deposits. So that deposit must be secured, which means might be some interest or might be some, So you gonna make money on the deal somehow too, right? So who gonna be the one at the end, like Charlie Brown, Halloween, the nigga with the hole in his bag, or the one that get rocks? Gonna be us again, right? Okay. All right. So they say innovative partnerships, the public-private sectors, increasing economic opportunities for all Americans. Hey, that sounds good. All Americans. Huh? All don't mean inclusive with us. So that's why we say specific. And when we start saying specific, it's funny how everybody say, I don't hate black people, but boy, don't let it say solely for. If it say solely for black folks, you'll see motherfuckers like, all of a sudden now, you don't know how to act right. You don't know, y'all should be getting it. If we ain't getting nothing, of course y'all can't get nothing. We don't let, so what does that say about y'all? But we know it happened to you. But why don't you just get over that? We're now. Let's move forward. Wait a minute. You know the Indy 500, right? Again, we got there late. You know, we got on that CP time, that color time. We was like, damn, shit, we thought this race started at 9 o'clock. We got there. It was 9:45. They already did 100 laps, 150 laps. You only got 300. Y'all got 350 laps to go. We still got 500 to go. And he said, let's move forward. What's my chance of winning? What's my chance of even getting in place? 3rd place, 5th place, 6th place. But I'm 150 laps. If I can win that damn race, boy, you're the greatest race driver all times. We good. But that's crazy to even want somebody to even go through some shit like that. The impossible or possible. Anyway. So yeah, that's what they're doing, right? So they show that, right? So we're like, okay, all right. So is it fair to say that everybody get a share or cut in something that historically pertain to this group of people? You don't get to commingle that in order to give. You don't even touch that. They're like some things, but it's like the disrespect that people do with us. It's unimaginable. It just shows really the disdain in their heart towards us, right? Matter of fact, as we get ready to get close to the end here, did y'all see? I do this for educational purpose. But did y'all see that jumped off also in Chicago the other day? Let me show y'all this. Let me see it. Did y'all see this here? Did y'all see this? Did you see them getting it in? A lot of people was tripping on this. A lot of people was like, God damn, wait a minute, they out there getting it in. What was out there cracking skull heads, right? Getting into it each other. Someplace I seen the ways that some people I seen talk about the incident. They try to say that they started it, that they were the ones that were the facilitated of it. Other people said that they came over there. Again, some people may not like what they present and what they talk about, right? And they may have a strength to it, a vigor to it. But that don't mean just because you may not like my tone or my veracity, that what I'm saying is a lie, right? Don't mean it's a lie. But some people need to, some people need to tell that because, hold on, put that one in there, put that one in, right? We don't want to advocate that because, again, I told y'all in the last show, that's not our fight. But look like they found a way to get a fight with us. So we have to say, who's going to try to use this now? Because I see some people who I look like in my skin of my kin, but the position that they hold, instead of saying there's a possibility that, yes, they were down there protesting, and the fact that those brothers used the name of Hebrews, right? Would they have a problem with them too? Now, we understand, again, I'm going to give you a little history to that whole Israel-Palestine business. I'm going to give you a little bit. I'm going to give something that most people don't go. Everybody say 1948. It happened before 1948. Long before 48. Long before 48. 48 is where they stay at because that seemed to be the beginning. Now, that ain't the beginning of it, y'all. It's not the beginning. But I seen people say, hey, you know what I'm saying? They crazy. They don't know who they are. There was a whole lot of stuff anti-black on black. If that's their belief, their religion, and if that's their ethnicity and their race, who they choose, why the first thing you had to do was be anti them? Could they, I mean, if you know who they are and what they do, this ain't nothing out of the ordinary what they do. They be in places like that, doing what they doing. And if they're talking about the Bible and so forth, what made them have to be the aggressors? Why couldn't they have been the defenders? You see what I'm saying? See, like some people, they always looking for the bad line, the bad angle to try to put us in the bad damn light. Maybe they were defending themselves. And what you see, again, on the different corners, your perspective, because it might be skewed because anything too black is always wrong with a lot of y'all. When it's too black, it ain't good. It's only good when it's got some milk and sugar and cream and then it's okay. Too black, you know, they say, I hate your black skin, like the back and forth with a connect, right? That, right? But some of y'all like that. And again, they would have a problem because we know being here that a lot of times people from these places are anti-black too. And they got anti-black sentiment as well. And y'all know that. So why is it we always in the wrong? Why everybody trying to find a way to make us bad in the light? Didn't know what really happened, but you observed it, and first thing you went with, instead said maybe there was a misunderstanding between the two. Maybe they said things that again, maybe they told them this. Maybe they said, y'all ain't the real Palestinians. Maybe it started with something like that. Now those brothers study the Bible and their history and knowledge accordingly. And for average people who do not do that and don't understand that, your ass take the position that you hold from your secular understanding and not from a biblical understanding. So you will take that position. And anytime 2579, CNN, CBS say what they say, you go right along with it. Remember the one when they was out there? They try to use them when the white kids was out there and got into with the Indian dude was drumming and thing, and they turned that on them. Remember that? That whole debacle. I think I'm the only one who really covered that. And what they do, they got away from them, then they put it on the dude with the drumming. They said they put it on him. They didn't really get into the ISUPK because why? There's something there, y'all. Whether you like it or not, there's something there that everybody don't want to address. Because the one thing that I'm noticing, ain't nobody saying we the people of the book. Y'all notice that? Ain't neither one of them saying we the people of the book. Everybody just got this preconceived notion that each one of them is who you think they is, but neither one of them claiming it. But these ones claiming it. They saying we here, that's us. And don't seem like too many people be trying to refute it. You ever notice that? Ain't too many people be trying to refute that. Because when you look at that whole situation, right? When you look at that whole situation, when they talk about this here, let's go there. Let's go ahead.
My name is Robert Lloyd George, and I'm the great-grandson of David Lloyd George, the Liberal Prime Minister from 1916 to 1922. After a lot of discussion in the British Cabinet in 1917, on November the 2nd, they held a cabinet meeting, Lloyd George as Prime Minister presiding, Arthur Balfour as Foreign Secretary supporting it, to write this letter from the Foreign Secretary, Balfour, to Lord Rothschild as head of the Jewish community in Britain, saying that Her Majesty's government view with support and approval the creation of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine, notwithstanding that they would respect and protect the rights of the indigenous inhabitants.
All right. Now, that's about that Balfour Declaration, correct? 1917, so forth, right? Now, that's the thing they talk about. Well, that's the one that's supposed to have, that's the initiator of it, right? Before you get to 1948, right? Now, talking about the Balfour, they talk about how the Rothschild and so forth, right? Okay, that's what most people go with that. As far as you go with it, go back further. When did it go before then? Do you know before then? Did you hear what he said? According to what you heard in that video clip, they're supposed to respect somebody who was the indigenous of that land, right? And so forth. Okay. Now, let me show you something. Hold on, let me do this again. Let's do this. You get this nowhere else. It's the most hated show in the black corner of YouTube. Welcome. Now, let me show y'all something, man. If I show you, this, do you know anything about it? Do you know anything about that? Do you know anything about that? Have you ever heard of that? Never heard of that? You even know who that is? You ever heard of Alfred Bay Sursock? You ever heard of him? Was a great property owner. Families, they said, of the Middle East. Supposedly, right? There's these people who sold to Yeshua Hankin. Yeshua Hankin. And Yeshua Hankin got the purchase of those lands. Okay. And then they created with a person named Arthur Ruppin. Arthur Ruppin, you know how much we sitting here talking about, okay, you know how y'all said that the Hebrews, some of them took the position, the Hebrew Israelites is racist and all that shit? Well, go study Arthur Ruppin and find out the ideology of Arthur Ruppin. And what he tells you a truth that y'all won't believe. Arthur Ruppin going to tell you that the people who is the origin of that place, North African and Arab people, that they people had some smudges of them in them, and they wanted a place of their own so that they could graft out the smudge. Get the smudge out of them. So when they went up in Europe, while they was getting the programs and all that, and why that whole thing manifests, because they had the smudge in them. What's the smudge? What's the smudge? What's the smudge? So when we talk about who's in them lands back then, it has something to do with purchasing of land. You heard the kibbutz? the kibbutz. Those like plantations that they purchased. And they brought the people from Europe in those kibbutz. They call it the aliyah, right? Coming over, right? The aliyah. And then that aliyah, some of that original, just like 1619 story tells you when they brought them over here, them settlers that came over here, they couldn't survive. They almost died because they had to, again, for the indigenous had helped them, hammocks and all. And the next thing you know, the thing's giving you stealing, taking, stealing, robbing, right? Well, kind of like same story. Land grab. Start with purchasing of land, expanding land, getting into wars, expanding, militarize. Old Beverly Hillbilly, so one thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire. The kin folks said, hey, get away from there, place of California. Israel's the place we ought to be, so we loaded up the truck, moved to Israel. Flooded, that is. Many of us, less of them. Seem familiar? I'm just going to give you that, man. I'm just going to give you that because I'm the most hated show on the Black Corner. Let me come back. I'm gone. But nobody. Well, I just told, welcome to your journey. Go in there, read it. Sursock. Go find out who that is. Go find them. You're going to find that Yahshua Hankin. He's going to be like, wait a minute. This cat wait a minute. He got his own tomb. You're going to find out the Palestine, what is they called? The Palestinian, the land distribution company. And who purchased that and who controlled what. And then what was if you really want to know. I could do that, but let me tell you something. I've been doing this for 12 years. I can't get past 100 views. You want me to execute my little 100-piece channel I've been doing for 12 years? We ain't gonna tell you what we heard. We're gonna tell you what we know. We ain't gonna tell you what we heard, we're gonna tell you what we know. But see, I give, but nobody gives. I give. I'm always over here giving. I'm always giving. I'm doing, and I don't compare myself to nobody. I give. I hear people say, I don't give because, you know what I'm saying? I don't even tell people. I don't tell everybody what I know. I tell you everything I goddamn know. I'm telling you something you didn't know. And I said, somebody here might know, but that for those who don't know, there's a nugget for you. There's a piece of pearl for you. There's something you can't get nowhere if ain't nobody gonna tell you. But Mr. Blow Your Mind told you, take your ass over there, WeUpReport, subscribe over there. Make these motherfuckers give me some money. If you ain't gonna give it to me, you can at least do that much. And if not, you drop $1 or something in there. Sursock purchase. Alfred Bay Sursock. Then you're gonna find out the Ottoman Turks and how what they parted in. And then last month, the individual who is the descendant of that went to the UN and said something. I would show it, but why? To tell what? Well, I get cut out now. I'm done. That's it for me. You're going with life. But let me see. I'll come back next week and do it. But let me see what people gonna do. You ain't gonna do shit. Fuck it. I gave you a nugget for free. No, sometimes you see the homeless person down there with the cup out there, and you're supposed to get a cup. No, I'll give them my cup and gave you something. I gave you something. The homeless person gave you something. They ain't giving nothing around here. They all taken. And the one that give it can't get out. He locked down. So that's what you do. You share, subscribe, and you do. Again, it's 2:44. I done did enough. Probably did too much. Right? We the most hated show on the Glad to see you stop by. Aboriginal Knowledge, Turn Screw, and all the hidden ones. Glad to see y'all stop by again. This is the most hated show on the black corner of the internet. To my next show, y'all. And to my next show.
Remember, the enemy has only images and illusions, behind which he hides his true motives. Destroy the image, and you will break the enemy.